Hey, Val.
Hey, Al. Hey, Stu.
Hey, Al and Val.
Welcome to D-Commentaries.
Thank you. Welcome to you. Welcome to our listeners. And welcome again. Welcome back to our very special guest, Stu Krieger.
Yay! Stu Shoutout.
Really happy to be back.
Yay. Thank you so much for joining us again, Stu. We're so happy to see you.
Great to see you as well.
It's been, 3 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
We've podcasted every 2 weeks for 3 years since we've seen you. We kept it
Fabulous.
going. You've had a lot of changes in your life too. How have you been?
Okay. Great. Really, really good. As we talked off camera, I retired from teaching in June, and it's been a wonderful transition, a wonderful decision. Kind of for me, everything has always been about instinct and feeling, as Kenny Rogers used to say, know when to fold them. And I really wanted to end the teaching career on a high note while I was still loving it, still loving the kids, still loving my faculty. And it really just felt like time. I'm an old fart who wants to spend more time with the grandkids and more time writing and off schedule. And it's all going very well.
Amazing.
That's amazing. Congratulations. You should be
Thank
so
you.
proud of yourself, especially to your point of kind of getting out when you're ahead, where you're like, you didn't want to get to a point where you're like, I'm resenting still teaching. You're like, you know what? I love this. Let me go out now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was incredibly touched and blessed by the fact that my faculty threw an incredible retirement party, invited alumni back, and 100 people showed up on a Wednesday afternoon.
Wow.
And it was some students I hadn't seen in 15 years. And it was just incredibly wonderful. And like I said, perfect way, high note to exit on. And I got to do a literal mic drop before I left. So. It was
Incredible.
good.
Amazing. And what have you been focusing on since you retired over the last couple
A couple
months?
different writing projects, which is always going to be the focus. When everybody was saying, after I announced I was going to, what are you going to do? How are you going to fill a day? And I said, I have the luxury of the fact that I am a writer who will always write. And what form it takes, what it becomes, when, where, who knows? But I just know that's something I will always have to do. And so one of the very exciting things we did this summer is we adapted my novel, Raft, as an audiobook. And how the book is structured is the 4 members of the family that are central to the plot each take turns narrating various chapters. And we did the audiobook with the 4 members of my family reading the parts they inspired. So my wife reads the wife, my son reads the son, my daughter reads the daughter, and it's kind of great. So that is coming to Audible December 2nd.
Amazing.
That is incredible and absolute incredible timing too.
I know. Because you came on the first time when the book came out. Like that was why you came on the first time. And so the 3 years, that's such a cool, like full circle moment. Amazing.
Wow. Oh, that's so cool. Congratulations. Did you like recording the audiobook?
Yeah, it was really, I have to be honest. The only hairy part of it was I am wildly claustrophobic, and you have to be inside the little tiny recording booth with the door closed. And of course, the day we were doing my parts, it was 112 degrees outside. And the engineer's apartment that we were in was air conditioned, but it was the kind of thing where you had to turn it on and then turn it off when we were recording because you didn't want to hum on the soundtrack. And so there were some moments where it was fully, I'm going to freak out any minute now. I got to get through this paragraph so I can open the door and step out and take some breath.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And those booths get hot too. So I'm sure you're like, I'm already don't want to be in here. And then now I'm sweating and
Yep. So unfortunately we got through.
Amazing.
That's so cool.
And you found out what it would be like to work on a submarine at the same time.
Yeah. And you know what? Never gonna happen. I can barely do the ride at Disneyland. So
I've never done it. I guess I maybe shouldn't.
Yeah. No, if you got any kind of claustrophobia, when they close that hatch and you're looking out the little tiny portal window, not so much.
No,
thank you.
Val, did you do it? Have you done the Nemo?
No, Michael did it when I wasn't there, and he said it was like one of the scariest experiences of his life. He's also a big guy, so he was like, I didn't fit. It just was not a good idea.
Yeah. Well played.
Wow.
Amazing. Are you writing? Are you working on another book, or are you like, what are you writing? If you can tell us.
Yes. Two things. I did something that I have not done in 15 years, which is I wrote a screenplay recently. But the whole reason was a very dear friend of mine who's an incredibly successful cinematographer and has directed some episodic TV, has a feature that he wants to direct. And it was an idea we had talked about years ago. And I said, I will write it for you on one condition. And the condition is when the script is done, I am handing it to you and you go get it made. I don't want to go to meetings. I don't want to do selling. I don't want to do anything other than write it for you and you go get the movie made.
Amazing.
So we are now fine-tuning a third draft. And I think this feels like the one that he will give to his agents, and they're going to try to help us put actors on it. It's a very actor-centric piece. And we feel like if we could attach one or two actors that mean something, that would be the best way to raise the money for it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So it feels really, really good. The process was great. Working with him was wonderful. And now to be able to say, good luck is a good thing.
That's so cool. In 15 years, that's a big change. Like, especially with how writing has changed in 15 years and technology, and how cool to jump back into that style of writing.
Yeah. And one of the things that was really fun about it is we're very, very, 50-year friends at this point. So we know each other really well. We know each other's style well. And we come from very similar backgrounds. We're both from three brothers. And so it's a story we both very, very much relate to. So there was a lot of commonality and then emotionality that we brought to the piece. And I'm very excited about it and hope it lives to see the light of day.
Yeah, us too. And then we'll have you on when the movie is premiering.
Yeah.
So that should be about another 3 years.
Perfect.
At that point, this podcast will be something else because we're about to run out of DCOMs.
Yes. So, Stu, since the last time we talked, and we had kind of met you right at the beginning of your internet fame, and now you have this Instagram and TikTok kind of, people are knowing who you are now, and you are interacting with audiences in a way I'm sure you never really had before, because as a writer, sometimes you do kind of like you mentioned, like I'm sending off the script and I'm staying behind the scenes. So what's that been like over the last couple of years with people being like, oh my gosh, he wrote my favorite movie, Land Before Time. Oh my gosh, he invented Skype from Zenon. Like, how has that been?
I think the biggest thing for me has been all I ever heard, and so much of why I avoided it as long as I did was all about the hotbed of hate that the internet is, and all the trolls and all the mean things and it was like, what do I need that for? And I think I saw as of this morning we're between the two accounts over 116,000 followers.
Wow.
And one of the things that's been so just incredibly surprising and touching to me is so much of the comments are just beautiful, loving, thank you. And thank you for being the dude who did this, or I never realized you wrote this and that, or, my dad and I used to watch this movie and it meant so much, or, whatever those comments have been, really 99% of them have been incredibly positive and affirmative. And to your point earlier, when you're writing, you never have a sense of that. You don't interact with your public the same way actors do. You don't have people coming up on the street and thanking you. And so getting to see that, getting to experience, that's been really fun. And then just last week, I had the first ever where I think it was my niece. I'm trying to even remember who it was, but they said they were at a party and something came up and they said something about, my uncle wrote The Land Before Time. And the person said, wait, are you talking about Stu Krieger? I totally follow him on Instagram. And she went through it. And it was like, that's the first time that thing has happened.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah. That's awesome. When I brag about having met you, I'm like, oh yeah, no, like I know Stu Krieger. He wrote 10 DCOMs. He wrote The Land Before Time. And it's just like this whole topic of conversation, and people definitely are starting to know who you are for sure.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's that millennial nostalgia thing. You've hit on at the exact moment when we're all just hungering so much for going back to our childhoods.
Well, one of the most fun things I got to do recently, it was sometime in the spring, I think April or May, a friend of my son's called and she said, I own a performance space in North Hollywood and we do a lot of nostalgia-based programming, and sometimes it's comedy and sometimes it's spoken word. And she said, if I did a screening of Zenon, would you come and do a Q&A afterwards? and I said, sure, I'd love to. That would be great. And it's a relatively, finite, small space she had, completely packed to the rafters, people standing in the back. And it was the most, like the biggest audience of geeks I've ever been a part of, because half of them had their Land Before Time VHS copies for me to sign. There were 2 women in Zenon t-shirts. There was people in Land Before Time hoodies. It was really, but the most fun was the screening ended up being like being at the Rocky Horror Picture Show. They knew the lines and they were yelling back at the screen. And everybody at the end was singing Zoom, Zoom, Zoom together, clapping and stomping. And so I was like, yeah, this is fun. And then the person who did the Q&A had just was so well researched and had really fun and really interesting questions. And then they kept trying to wrap it up, and people in the audience were like, wait, one more question.
Oh,
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Wow. I bet you could do that.
Whenever you want to come to
tour
Chicago,
that around.
we can do that here gladly.
For sure. I don't know if we were already doing this when we talked to you last time. I don't think we were, but we actually directed and created an improvised Disney Channel original movie show. So it runs, I mean, they're on a little bit of a hiatus right now, but generally they run they have a new show like every week. And they, and they just kind of play on, all the sort of tropes and the nostalgia and all of that stuff. And people,
totally improvised?
Yeah, totally improvised.
Fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they get like a genre and like some kind of catalyst to start them off, and then they just go. So yeah, it's really fun. It was a cool project to be a part of.
All right. Well, there's a chance we're coming to Chicago in June, so we'll be in touch.
Ooh, definitely.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
Yes, would love to see you.
Anything you want to do in Chicago, Stu, we will make it happen.
Seriously.
We'll make it happen.
For sure. We will pack our theater with people to watch.
Yes, we'll pack the theater. We'll make sure it's standing room only. Something that I think would be fun for you too, I don't know if you went last year, if you've been previously, but I go every other year, is going to D23, the Disney Expo that's in Anaheim. I feel like you would thrive in that environment now, and being around everyone. They would think you're meeting you would be so cool.
I don't know that.
All right. I'm writing it down in my notes. I'm sending you all the information.
Cool. Very fun.
It's the Disney Fan Expo. So it's kind of like the Disney Comic Con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it happens at Disneyland. So not too far of a trip for you.
Mm-hmm.
So Stu, I'm curious, I know you're retired now, but screenwriting has changed so much. And even in just the last couple of years since we last talked to you, a lot has changed, especially with all the AI stuff and everything else. How was it teaching these last few years? How did it change or not? I remember you told us the story of how you got your agent and your beginnings. Were your students able to kind of follow a similar path, or did they have to completely take a different approach nowadays?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing where my teaching shifted in the last couple of years was what I would say to them in every class I taught was the industry has constricted. Things have gotten tougher. The way I got an agent, the way I got my start doesn't exist anymore. But what you guys have that I didn't is that feature films are being made on a smartphone and ultimately gaining national distribution. So I said to them over and over and over again, at some point, I'm going to be going to court and changing my name to Professor Nike, because all I ever say is just do it. Look, and then I go, I have this idea. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's you guys can do it. I did not have that ability. I needed a lab to develop film. I needed film. I needed an editing bay. I needed all the things you literally can do on your phone. And I would always talk about the fact that, Issa Rae's show Insecure started in her garage. It was a web series, and Fleabag was a one-woman show on a stage, a little community stage off, whatever the off-Broadway version of London is.
Edinburgh Fringe Fest.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's, you no longer have an excuse of, I'm waiting for the opportunity to just go do it. And so part of the philosophy of my teaching was always great stories are great stories. And I can, I always said I cannot teach anybody to write. I can help you find your voice. I can help you with form. I can help you shape. I can help you improve. I cannot teach you to write. If you don't have an innate ability to tell a story. I can't give you that. So, if that's what you're here to do, and there were a couple times where I would have to say to a student at the end of the quarter, is there something else you think you might want to do? I love you. I respect you. You're just not a writer.
Wow.
And, that was always a really tough conversation to have. But I also felt like I'm not doing anybody any favors if it's just, no, you'll be great. It's an easy thing to do. Go,
Yeah.
So that, the balance of great stories are always going to be great stories. Great stories will find a home, whatever that form is, however it evolves. But you have to take much more responsibility now to make stuff and get it out to the world and not wait.
Yeah, that is directly speaking to my heart right now, Stu. I literally talked about this in therapy yesterday. About
I don't charge nearly as much. So you're good.
So true. But I'll still send you my insurance anyway. I am really struggling with this. This year has been focusing on my 9-to-5 job that funds how I eat and I pay to live. And I feel like my creative side has wilted, so to speak. And it's really nice to have someone literally kind of say to your face, you can do it, just go out there. When the last couple of months I've been telling myself it's really hard to jump back in and it's really hard to do it. And I second guess myself. And so my question based off of what I'm going through right now is, when you have had those writer block moments, or when you've been going through those times of not feeling like you can do it, how do you snap yourself out of that?
It's so funny that you say that, because one of the things they did at the retirement party I mentioned is they put together a probably 10-minute video where a bunch of former students who couldn't be there sent in, just wanted to say this, or I wanted to say that, or Stu. And they included my daughter and her baby who live up in San Francisco. And my daughter, being a wise guy, had the baby on camera, and she was acting like she was his voice off camera. And she said, the best advice I ever got from Pop was when I asked him how he dealt with writer's block. He said, I don't have writer's block. I have a mortgage. And she was acting like it was the baby doing the commentary. But the serious side of that comment was always, I never gave myself that permission. And part of it was, this is how I support my family. This is how I make my living. Go in your office and write, because if you write something, there's something to make better. And if you give yourself permission to, I'm just not feeling it today. Oh, maybe I should just walk along the beach and wait for inspiration to strike, or, any of those millions things that we all do to try to deflect and defer and not have to sit our ass down and actually get it done.
Yeah.
I just really, from the very beginning, when it became my career, it's like, and it was so interesting, because people would always say to me, oh my heavens, you're so disciplined. You go in that office every morning. And I go, do you get up in the morning, put a suit on and drive to work? And they go, yeah. And I go, oh my God, you're so disciplined. This is my job. I have to go to my job or my family doesn't eat. And so part of it, to your point, is if you just say, I'm doing my 9-to-5 thing, I've got to do that, but 3 days a week, I'm going to come home and I'm going to have dinner, and from 8 to 11, I'm going to write. Or, I'm going to set aside Saturday and 4 hours on Saturday morning before I see friends, before I go do something for my soul, I'm going to write, I'm going to film, I'm going to, whatever it is. But if you just set that schedule and say, that's sacrosanct, nobody gets in the way of it. And I would have people then call and say, we're coming into town, can we this and that? And I go, at 1 o'clock today, we can. At 10 o'clock, we can't. This is, my thing. And I never wavered from it. And to me, it was, if you're serious about this, if this is how you plan to make a living, you got to commit the same way people do when they go to their job in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that idea of if you don't start or you don't make something, you don't have anything to make better. I'm going to carry that with me, because my biggest hurdle for sure is that first page, that first sentence. I really, really struggle, Because I start to like spin out like, well, what if everything I write is bad? What if this was a total waste of time? What if I have zero talent, and all that stuff, right? And it's like, well, none of that matters, right? If I never write a word on a page. And so I think that that's like such a great mentality of like, you can always make it better. You can always do another draft. You can always punch it up, whatever.
Well, there's two things that I always used to say to my students when they had to turn in work weekly in all the workshops I taught. And I would say, when you send your work in, because we had an email chain for the class, and it would be, do as a reply all, put your work in so everybody can read it ahead and we can workshop it. And I would say to them, when you send your work out, please do me a favor and don't put a qualifier like, sorry, you guys, my work is shit this week. And I said, don't do that, because it's our job to tell you. And I said, I mean that a bit facetiously, but I also mean it is all work in progress. Nobody is sending us War and Peace. So it doesn't need an apology. It doesn't need excuses. It just needs to be submitted.
Yeah.
And then let's pull it apart and put it back together in a way that makes it healthier and stronger. That's productive.
For sure.
Telling me ahead of time that it's terrible doesn't do anybody any good. So please don't do that.
Right. That's so great. Yeah. I was thinking about the other day, like, it's funny we're having this conversation because I was literally thinking about this. I like to think of myself as a good editor. Like, I'm good at like punching stuff up or improving other people's ideas or refining them. And I was like, why don't I just look at my own work as like that? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it just happened to be written by me, but I can still approach it in the same way as I do other people's ideas. Like, I need to start reframing these things for myself so that I don't get so caught up in, the nonsense of it all. So I think that's really cool.
And of the 50 plus projects I did in my professional writing career, there wasn't a single one that wasn't rewritten to death. There wasn't anything where I turned it in and it's like, okay, you're a genius, let's go.
Well, I think you told us about maybe one script that you like basically wrote the first draft or maybe a second draft and you turned it in and it became a movie.
Well, Tru Confessions was the shortest, and that was 3 drafts.
3 drafts, okay.
That was the shortest. But then there was the 21 drafts of a project I did with Goldie Hawn, and then the studio went, yeah, we're not making it. Literally 21 drafts.
Oh.
And then they went, yeah, no, we're not doing it. Thank you anyway.
Oh my God. Ugh.
Wow.
The other thing I was going to say in terms of starting is there was a Hemingway quote from A Movable Feast that I had taped in a notebook for years. And he said, whenever I need to begin writing, I just start with one true thing. And what he meant was, like, he said, look across the room and go, as the flag waved gently in the breeze, and then just go, but he said, just like look around and find one true thing to focus on, write that and go from there. And I always had that glued to a notebook. That was my writing idea book.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier, part of the reason why you didn't originally want to get on the internet was because of haters. And how bad the internet can be. Val and I are.
Are you about to talk about our favorite
yes.
listener?
Val and I are currently have a listener who hates us. We think, and we don't know why they listen.
They literally hate listen to our podcast. They probably are the first person who listens to it, and then they leave a comment on every single episode.
Which, thank you for the numbers, but also I can't stop thinking about it. But to your point, that's kind of why I haven't dived into like the internet and wanting to post more, because I second guess myself, which I will never do after we get off this call, because I'm going to hear Stu in my head being like, why are you doing that? But when it comes to that side, kind of going back to like being on the internet, is it something that you take those beautiful comments and you see those and you're like, you just keep those front of mind? Or how do you deal with like the hater kind of comments that you see?
Well, I don't think I told you guys this story last time, but it was the best answer to your question. And it was, again, when Tru Confessions came out, and, you're always, do I pay attention to the critics? Doesn't matter, whatever. And that was a film I was particularly proud about, and the studio was really happy with, and they were actually running ads in Daily Variety and Hollywood Reporter for trying to get a daytime Emmy nomination, and for Shia, for the writing, for the directing, and they were running full page ads and all of that. And the morning it premiered, if you remember, that it was the first Friday of every month when the premieres were happening. And so the morning it premiered, I got up early, I went downstairs, got the LA Times off the front porch and ripped it through to see if they reviewed it. And they hated the movie. They just shredded it and said bad things about me, about the script, about everything. And just like, and then you go, oh my God, this is my hometown paper and everybody I know is going to see it. And it's so humiliating. And wait, I love the paper. And like a half an hour later, a friend called and he said, have you seen the New York Times this morning? And I said, no, I don't get that paper. And he said, well, go out and buy a copy. They love your movie. They raved.
Oh.
And the New York Times is a much better paper anyway. You gotta, you just got to ride the wave, and you got to really know from the very beginning that goes with the territory.
Right.
And I just tried really hard, always, especially when I was in it, of just not taking any of it too seriously and really, embracing the idea that it's all just somebody's opinion. And, the old axiom that the critics are the people that couldn't do it themselves anyway. So it's, there's always the temptation to want to call up and go, yeah, well, how many movies have you written?
For sure.
Yeah, that's a very interesting side of, I feel like, social media and everything now too, that it, to your point, used to be the newspaper, and then now it's just right in front of your face a little bit quicker than getting the newspaper in the morning. And it's right when we
and
wake
it's
up.
Anonymous. Whereas that, whoever that was had to put their name under their opinion, right?
Exactly. But at the end of the day, it's all just somebody's opinion. And the thing I always went back to with my students was, if anybody knew anything, everybody would be writing $100 million movies all the time, and they're not.
That's true.
So it's just somebody's opinion.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's just,
some of the movies I've seen lately, some of them may give me hope for good stuff, but also some of them are like, I could do that. That was very good.
Oh yeah.
I could write that. So that kind of makes me feel better too. It's like everybody's human, right? Everyone, it's just where the money goes. It's not necessarily the most talented people are always the people who are getting their movies made, and vice versa.
No, and the thing that it was always underlined to the students was the idea that they call it show business. Mm-hmm. They don't call it show talent. They don't call it show, at the end of the day, it is a bottom line business. And a number of projects that I was involved in that were, we have this date with this commitment to this actor. We got to do something. If the script isn't ready, it doesn't matter. We got to go.
Right.
And people saying, I wish we had more time to work on this part. I wish we had time to we don't. We got to go because we've already promised theater owners that it's going to be delivered by this date. And you really realize when you're in the middle of it that it's a business.
Yep.
And business decisions are not always creative decisions.
No, I feel like more often than not. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh boy. And that's why you handed off that script and you're like, I'm done. I don't want to do the business part. And I don't blame you.
And the truth in terms of when we were talking earlier about the evolution of the industry, the biggest thing that's changed is the studios are now owned by corporations. And corporations have shareholders and people that they have to answer to, and boards of directors. And so there are decisions that used to be made when they were, the family-run MGM with the brothers and, all those things. It's entirely different when you're answering to a corporate board of directors than when you're answering to your taste and your whims and things that make you happy to put in the universe that hardly exists any longer.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's so much conversation about how that sort of mid-budget movie has sort of ceased to exist? Do you see a future where maybe sort of to your point earlier of you can make something on your phone, anybody can kind of make stuff. Do you see that potentially coming back? I mean, I've seen a few movies that kind of felt like that recently, Roof Man I saw recently kind of felt like that vibe. Do you think that that has the potential to come back, or is it gone?
I hope so. And I actually hope the world of streaming platforms will help that there's a room for it then, even if things play a week theatrically, but then have a life on streaming and things that get discovered. The Paul Mescal movie Hamnet that's just come out with Jesse Buckley's getting incredible buzz. And the other night, my wife and I saw Blue Moon, which is the Richard Linklater
I heard
movie
it's
with
incredible.
It's fabulous. But it's a teeny tiny movie filmed all on one location.
Wow.
Talking Heads, but it's Ethan Hawke and Margaret Qualley, and it's a wonderful movie. But those things always give me hope that somehow that one got through. You know? And so like I said, I'm hoping that the world of streaming will provide a home for more of those, $5 to $20 million movies that did very much seem like they were going away entirely a couple of years ago.
Yeah, for sure. I hope you're right.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so Val and I are nearing the end of watching all of the DCOMs. So we've been doing this in March. We will have hit 5 years. And
Nice.
I know you've given us a lot of advice so far, but I'm wondering if you have any advice for moving into a new chapter and kind of like saying goodbye to this amazing thing that we did, and what should we do when we look to, I think our listeners know, but we're potentially switching to a different kind of podcast. And what should we do, Stu? Basically, tell me what to do.
It really, at the end of the day, it's got to be following your heart. And so, if the world of film and television and all of that is still interesting to you guys, then it's what's a take that we have, what's a perspective that we have, what's the lens that we can interpret some of this in a way to create interesting conversation, to create interesting discussions, to be able to speak to your passions and your heart. I think I talked last time about the kid who's been my social media maven and manager, and he does everything. I just show up and do what I'm told to do. Hey, I need you to put on a suit and jump in the pool fully clothed. Sure, dude. And just do what he tells me. That video got 2 million views or something after, I just do what he tells me. But he and I are toying with the idea of starting a podcast next year. And the idea would be, he's a 30-year-old Irishman. And so kind of our whole pitch was, one's young, one's mature, one's retired, one's just starting his career, one's Irish, one's American. And we're each going to pick a film for the other to watch that each of us loves, but the other has never seen. And then break them down and have the conversation. So is that something you guys were playing with too?
That's our podcast.
Yeah.
That's like our spin-off that we're kind of transitioning into.
Yeah.
Good. There's room for all of us.
Watching, showing each other movies that each of us has not seen, because there's our Venn diagram of movies we've seen is 2 circles that are not overlapping.
Yeah.
So that's so funny.
And for us, it's a generational thing, because I'll say, you want to be a film student. Have you ever seen? And he's like, no, I don't know what that is. Sorry. I don't know what it is. And it's like, dude, come on. Let's go here.
That was, we've done 2 episodes. Val had me watch Star Wars. I had never seen Star Wars, so I watched the first Star Wars. I did like it. And then...
But how does that even happen?
I don't know, Sue. I don't know. It just, you get to a point of your life where you've never seen it, and then you just ride the high of being the person who's never seen a Star Wars.
Whereas I am in the novels and all the, I'm the most Star Wars. Yep. So the 2 of us could not be more different. So yeah.
And then the movie I made Val watch was 13 going on 30.
Nice.
Which was great.
Yeah.
Stellar choices all around.
Thank you.
Once you guys start your podcast and we transition to that one, we should do a giant mega pod with all 4 of us.
A movie the 4 of us have never seen.
I like it.
Although, Stu, it sounds like you've seen every movie ever.
Yeah.
Well, that's really one of the great things about retirement, is because when my wife and I were first married before kids, we were at the movies probably 4 nights a week. No exaggeration. It was like, something open, let's go.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of getting back to that. And I think we've seen 3 movies in the last 2 weeks, which didn't happen for years.
Wow.
So that's kind of fun.
You're giving me hope, because my husband and I were very similar. We would go to the movies at least once a week, if not more. And and since having our daughter, obviously that's been a lot more complicated. So I think we've seen a total of 4 movies since she's been born in the theater. And so I'm really hoping that we can get back to a little bit more.
Well, you know what you get gypped with? When our kids were little, there were still drive-ins. And we used to do that, strap them in the back seat and go to the drive-in and rock them long enough to fall asleep.
I know. Oh, that's such a good idea. I think there is a drive-in somewhere.
There was one in the summer still, I think.
Yeah. So next summer we'll have to explore that as an option for sure. But she's actually really good. She's not even 2 yet, and she can sit through most of a Disney movie.
Right.
Yeah, like she sat through, what was it yesterday? She sat through like most of Beauty and the Beast, like in one sitting. She just like watched it almost straight through.
Very
So I
impressive.
feel optimistic that we're not too far from being able to like take her to see a movie in the theater, which I'm very excited about.
Nice. Yeah. Worst case scenario, noise canceling headphones go a long way.
Right.
That's what my granddaughter does, and she's all set.
That's so funny.
Meanwhile, tonight at 10:15 p.m., I'm going to see Wicked for good.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
I have to wait. My daughter's coming down on Monday for Thanksgiving week, and I have to wait for her because we saw the first part together.
Oh, fun. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
So she said, you got to wait and see the second half when I'm down. And it's like, all right, we can do that.
Nice. Do you do a big Thanksgiving?
Yes. This has been the holiday that my wife and I have hosted since we were dating. So now I think this is probably our 47th year of doing Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And it's really interesting because the policy was always family and friends without anybody. If you don't have any place to be, please come here. So 2 years ago, which was one of the first like revival post-COVID, we had 36 people here for dinner. I think this year we're at a very tiny 18.
I'll get on a plane. I'm coming.
Yeah. So it's always very fun because it's multi-generational, multi parts of our life. Anybody, and there's always a certain, where are you going? What do you mean you have nowhere to go? You're coming to our house. So it's always the joke. My daughter will go, did you meet a barista at Starbucks that's coming this year? Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's so lovely. That's the dream.
Yeah.
I hope one day we can do that. That sounds so fun.
Yeah, it's very fun. And it's great because, I mean, many of the people involved in that have been here for 40 years.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that have come and gone. And some of my former students who are now referred to as my fake children, they're now having their own kids. And the problem is, like this year, we lost 2 couples because their kids are just too little and the nap schedules and they're like, we're about 2 years away from coming back again, but don't worry, we'll be back. So we take them where we can get them.
Do you have any like fun traditions that you do with everybody?
For many, many, many years, that again has gotten a little off track with the young children back around again, as we used to get rid of the, how do I say this, being one myself, we would make sure all the old people left, and then we would have game night and have rowdy games. So there were many years where Thanksgiving here started at 2 p.m. and ended at 2 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
So the game night usually starts with a round of tequila shots, and then it's off and running from there.
Stu, you keep saying things that are making me jealous that I can't go to this party.
Well, you never know.
Never know. Maybe one year. This year, the next day, I'm actually I'm flying to Germany. My best friend and I are doing a little Christmas trip. So we're going for like 9-10 days, and we're doing Paris, Germany, and Austria. So
fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm thank you so much for the invite. I can't make it.
We'll make it happen.
Yes. Oh man. My face hurts because I'm smiling so much. I'm just so grateful for these opportunities to keep chatting with you, and seeing you blow up over the internet makes me be like, oh no, we knew him one.
Yeah.
Like, no. He had 800 followers when we met Stu. It's just so cool to see you kind of get this new perspective on I mean, like, life because of retirement, but it's not like you're even retired. You're still working. It's just a different chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other, it's in the very, very, very nascent stages, and I'm not convinced it'll ever see the light of day. But the other project I'm working on is toward the end of my tenure teaching. It was just this very interesting coincidence that within about 2 weeks, 3 different people said, have you ever considered writing a memoir? You have such great stories, and, it's so entertaining. And I said, I really haven't thought about it, just simply because there's so many Hollywood memoirs by many, many people way more famous than I am, and who would really care. And then I woke up and I had this epiphany of, from the start, I've kept a journal, and usually writing 2 or 3 times a week. And I thought, would it be interesting if I took a journal entry, didn't edit it, didn't clean up all the naive idiot things that I had to say in the time, and then wrote a reflection beside it of, that's what I thought then, here's what I know now, in juxtaposition, or this thing that I had no idea how it would ripple through my life. And my wife and I met on that classic motion picture, Satan's Cheerleaders, which I'm sure you know very well. And the first entry is, the first time I met her, and like Hillary seems like a really sweet kid, and it's like, little did I know that, that woman would then be my wife of now 44 years.
Wow.
And then, all the projects that didn't happen, on all the meetings I had with really famous actors and directors and what became of them. And the really like full circle thing is today I was reading a journal from 1977. And I don't know if you guys know who the actress Annette O'Toole is, but she worked quite a bit in the early 70s and then continued to work sporadically. But she's been married to Michael McKean for the last 26 years. And she was a flaming redhead in the day, as I was. And I had the biggest crush on her in the early 70s into like probably late 70s. And today I'm reading a journal entry saying, I had a dream last night that Annette O'Toole wants to have redheaded babies, hopefully with me. I have to find some way to meet her. Last week, I met her at an event and got a picture with her. And this was a journal entry in 1977. And I finally met her last week.
Wow.
At an event honoring her husband. And I had to go over and say, I don't want to bother you, but I just have to tell you, I had the biggest crush on you. Oh. And she was so lovely and so gracious. And we got a picture together. And it's like, all right.
Amazing. Yeah. What a fun.
Wow.
Life is weird that you like just randomly read that.
So yeah. And literally had just read, I dreamt last night she wants to have a redheaded baby with me.
Wow.
For the record, I think that format for a memoir is such a cool idea.
Yes. How different and fun.
Yeah. And also like brave, frankly.
Well, you know what? Because the thing that I said when I was writing a potential introduction is the only way it works is if I allow myself to be the idiot I was. Because if you start self-censoring and cleaning up and taking out, because there's just these ridiculously naive, working on an incredibly low budget shot in 10 days movie going, everybody's so good. I'll bet we're going to get some Oscar nominations. And it's like, you idiot. There's no world where that ever possibly would have happened. But, written with the 24-year-old sincerity that I was written with.
But honestly, that self-belief also says something about you. So that's really cool. But I think that's awesome. Our version of that is called Facebook Memories. I am humbled on a daily basis by the stupid stuff that I wrote when I was like in college, like just out of college. Oh my God, I was so dumb. And that was sharing with the universe, right? I was just putting that out in the world. What a dummy.
Yeah.
So earnest. And so,
like truly.
I wish I had the confidence that 2009 me had.
Oh my God, I would give anything.
Where is she? I need her back.
Rein her in.
Yes. And Stu, if your story rings true for my life, I will meet Nick Jonas one day and get to tell him that I cut out a picture of him in J14 and said, this is my new husband.
Yeah. Well, I told you guys the Haley Mills thing last time.
Yes.
And she's still in my life. We just emailed a couple weeks ago.
That's so cool.
There was a time when an entire wall of my bedroom was papered with pictures of her.
Speaking of Haley Mills, I saw her. So when I would like just had my daughter, I was like up all hours. And so I just watched every single British crime drama I could get my hands on. Cause I was just like, I don't know, that's what I wanted to watch. And there was something that she was in. And now I can't remember what it was because this was almost 2 years ago now. But I remember I was like, oh my God, she's still working. That's so great. I'm so happy to see her. And I was just like so thrilled that she was like out there still doing her thing.
Yeah, and she's in the most recent M. Night Shyamalan movie. The one that was kind of at the concert with Josh Hartnett.
Oh, yeah. What was that called? Yeah, I heard that was like a crazy movie.
Exactly. It was like the whole thing took place at a concert that was like a Taylor Swift type character.
Trap.
Yeah. Trap.
There you go. Yeah, Haley's
wasn't she like the cop or something or like
totally.
That's right. I remember I listened to like a podcast about it or something. That's so funny. Yeah, I'm so glad she's still out there doing her thing. She's awesome.
Yep.
So Stu, Last time I mentioned on our podcast, we always end with a game, and we didn't have a game last time, and we introduced you to the Stu Shoutout graphic that we designed, which we love, that you love. And so this time I did create a game for you, and it is just a Stu rapid fire questions. So just some getting to know you questions of like silly little things, just so we can know a little bit more about you outside of, your job and social media and things like that. Is that okay with you?
You got it.
Yay. All right. So, and you can answer as rapid fire as you want. We can also have discussion. It's flexible. All right. So Stu rapid fire. I always do a song too. So Val, let's see. Let's do a Stu rapid fire. Okay. Stu, what is your to-go coffee order?
Don't drink
or
coffee.
Tea?
Only writer you've ever made. Don't drink coffee, so it would be a chai tea latte.
Chai tea latte.
Ooh.
What kind of milk do you put in it?
Oh,
That's a key question.
whole milk, baby.
Whole.
Wow.
No compromise.
Love that for you. Hate that for my stomach.
Diesel.
Diesel. All right. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate almond fudge.
Ooh. Do you have a favorite brand?
Don and Bob's in Rochester, New York.
All right. Our
Best chocolate
fans in
almond fudge in the
Rochester, New
country.
York are going to love this.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Next time I fly into Rochester, I'm going to have to try it out.
Hell yeah.
Is that where you fly when you go to?
Sometimes, yeah.
Nice.
It's where
Does
I
it
was
cost like
born and raised.
$2,000 to fly into Elmira? So we have to fly to Rochester.
Yep.
Now
That's cool.
that you're retired, where's your dream vacation?
Was there in September, going there in May. Kauai.
Wow.
Oh,
Never happier.
That's awesome.
we went there for our like very belated honeymoon. It's so great.
Yeah. So we were there for 11 days in September and going back for 10 days in May. So
Wow.
Wow.
yeah,
Amazing.
that's my happy place.
Love it. Would you move there?
No, it's very funny. Every time we go, my wife and I talk about we could do a month, but after that, a little bit of island fever would set in. We're
Yeah.
kind of
Mm,
busy folk that need a little bit more stimulation and input.
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair.
All right. Describe yourself as an animal.
I'm a pussycat. And what's the best thing about the fact that I said that is I hate cats. But, let's be honest.
That's so
That's
funny.
so funny.
Just the way you said it too was great. What is one of your favorite books you've read recently? I know choosing a book is very hard. It's like, choosing one of your children. So a favorite book you've read recently.
Culpability.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Who's that?
Want to elaborate a little on it?
Yeah.
I knew you were going to ask me.
We could cut it out if we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure the author's name, and I apologize for that, being an author myself. But really, really interesting about, without any spoilers, it's a family of four in a car together in a self-driving AI-powered car that gets in an accident, and then it's about who ultimately is responsible for the ripple effects of what happens. And it's
Ooh.
Whoa.
really interesting, really well written.
Nice.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
All right.
Wow.
Where do you sit on an airplane? Window, middle, or aisle?
Aisle.
Yes.
The dude who's got to pee is not climbing over people 6 times in a long flight. Not happening.
I have a theory every aisle person is married to a window person. Is your wife a window person?
No, she's an incredibly generous person who will sit in the middle so we can sit next to each other. But she knows when we can, we both do aisles next to each other.
Yes.
But when not,
yes.
she will always sacrifice and take the middle. So
Wow.
she's a good one.
I'm a plane sleeper, so I need a window to lean on.
Fair enough.
Mm.
Mhm. If anyone wants to watch me fly to Paris next week, I'll be at the window. If you could play a sport professionally, what sport would it be? And you're just automatically good at it.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Wow. Who's your team?
Dodgers.
Oh, congratulations.
Okay.
I mean, the 2-time World Series champions. Those guys?
The city of Toronto is quaking right now, Stu.
As they should be.
That was a series. That
Great
was
series.
a good series of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and my Irish assistant is currently living with his girlfriend in Toronto because of visa issues we won't get into. We won't get political.
Oh boy.
But he was in Toronto during the series, and the shit talking going back and forth was pretty good.
Amazing.
And he was a guy who knew nothing about baseball 6 months ago, but his girlfriend's totally into it. And by the end of it, I said, "You learned fast, dude, how to throw those fastballs." So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. If you had the opportunity to go to space, would you?
Absolutely not. What are you, nuts?
Yes.
Agree.
Thank you.
Agree.
Katy Perry, you have a baby at home. Shame on you.
Space is horrifying to me. You were talking about how you would never go to a submarine, and I would never go to space.
Well, have you ever been to one of the national museums and seen the size of a space capsule?
They're
Oof.
like this big.
No. Put me on top of a giant rocket and blast me. No, not happening.
Mm-mm.
No, thank you.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely.
All right, and last question, which was added upon seeing your new setup here. What is you can describe one thing behind you that you would like us to know about. Pick one of your favorite things behind you and tell us about it.
It's actually in front of me, but
okay.
The treasure that this is Gus and Rosie from a Troll in Central Park. Because when the animators are working on an animated film, they used to build these three-dimensional models so that they could see the character from all angles. And Gus and Rosie are my children. And when the movie ended up, the filmmaker signed the bottom of it and gave this to me on Father's Day that year. And it's one of my most treasured possessions from a Troll in Central Park, Gus and Rosie.
That is so sweet.
Stu, you're making me cry. Oh,
So-
thank you so much for sharing that. That's amazing.
Yeah. When we had to be evacuated in January because the wildfires in the Palisades got incredible. They got as close as the end of our street. And I was in Riverside teaching when my wife had to evacuate by herself. And she called and said, I'm in a hotel in the valley. Is there anything I should have grabbed? And I said, well, you did get Gus and Rosie off my desk, right? And she said, no, I never even thought about it. And I said, if we lose the house, that's the only thing. And as you can see, it's a pretty packed space.
Yeah.
But I said, that's the only thing that's pretty irreplaceable. So fortunately, it didn't become an issue.
I'm very glad that it didn't become an issue.
Thank you.
Oh, happy to hear you guys were safe through that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sad.
This has been so special.
That was
I
the
know.
fastest hour of my life.
I know it flew by.
Well, think about the
you.
fact that somewhere in the near future, we're going to have to do the four of us movie podcast. So.
Yes,
Yeah. We
absolutely.
got to do that.
And your Irish intern, I don't know, your Irish social media manager is gonna still keep seeing me respond to all your stories. So at this point, we're close personal friends, Stu. I don't know what to tell you.
As it should be.
Yes.
Yep.
Stu, do you have anything you want to plug before you go? I know your audiobook is coming out. Anything else?
No, that would be anybody that wants to check out the audiobook. I think you'll really enjoy it. The book was a lot of fun, and doing it with the four family members and hearing the voices personify those characters. It was a great time, and I think you'll have a great time listening. So check it out.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Stu.
All right, stay in touch, ladies. Great to see you.
Bye, Val.
Bye, Al. Bye, Stu.
Bye, Al and Val.
This podcast was produced by me.
And me.
And it was edited by me.
The music was composed by Michael McNally.
You can find us online at thetridentnetwork.com/dcommentaries-pod.
And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at DCommentaries.
D-Commentaries is a part of the Trident Network. To learn more about our videos, live shows, and other podcasts, please visit thetridentnetwork.com.
Disney Channel original movies.
Damn it, Allie.